no stranger. Once again, representing the Democratic National Committee. He is a DNC vice chair, also happens to be my assemblyman in the New York State Assembly. Michael Blake, DNC vice chair Michael Blake, joins us now. Mr. Vice Chair, how are you this morning?
Mark, you can call me anything you want. And, I'm your assemblyman first and foremost. So, I want to stay in your good graces.
Yes, sir. Where you are, that's no, you are in my good graces, and very, very happy to have you. Folks, we're on Facebook too, facebook.com/makeitplain and youtube.com/makeitplain. Join us at both locations. Healthcare. Where do things stand in the Senate at this hour, or do we really know?
So we know that the Senate Republicans are desperately trying to do everything they can to jam through this bill.
Yeah.
And, for listeners to appreciate how absolutely irrational this is, you have a bill, the Graham-Cassidy bill, that would eliminate protections for existing conditions, would defund Planned Parenthood, would see costs go up for premiums for seniors, and would convey that states would then potentially receive block grants for states to possibly provide coverage, which, let's just be clear, Mark, you and I have talked about this before, the reason why costs have been going up in the states is that the Republican governors in the states didn't move forward with Medicaid expansion.
Right.
So the previous bills had anywhere between 22 to 23 million people at a minimum losing health care. On the high end, 32 to 33 million. So, we're seeing the Senate Republicans are trying to push forward on this. I read the latest updated is that Senator McCain had been communicating as of yesterday that at this point he was still a no and was unmoved. So it is our hope that Collins, Murkowski, McCain, and others really come to the light and again, reject this absolute monstrosity of a bill. Why on earth the Republicans in the Senate are adamant in taking away your health care is beyond us.
Why again now? Seems like this just came out of nowhere too, Michael, just all of a sudden this week. What's that all about?
Because of the timeline. They have until September 30th to try to move things forward. They're trying to get things done through reconciliation and 50 votes. And this really shows the priorities. I think for anyone that has had any question of where the Republican Party stands, they are willing, in the face of consistent challenges going on in our country. You have immigrants, Latino, Caribbean, West African, who are concerned as it relates to DACA. You have our fellow brothers and sisters down in Puerto Rico that are struggling, and in the Caribbean that are struggling. You have people that are trying to figure out how to have jobs. People figuring out how to pay for student loans. That the Senate Republicans are saying, you know what? Our priority has to be to try to find every possible way to take your health care away by using a process to do so, getting 50 votes. Now, what they'll hear on the other side is, well, the Democrats, you used reconciliation before to get health care. Yes, I think any rational person would have a conversation. What would be better, to have health care or to not have health care?
Right.
So
right.
The reason why we're going through this process is they're trying to do everything possible in an abbreviated timetable by the September 30th deadline to use reconciliation to get this done. And to everyone listening, 202-224-3121, 202-224-3121. That is the phone number to call to speak with your senator, especially with these Republican senators. And as opposed to previous times, Mark, where you were just communicating your clear opposition, you could not only make opposition, you could just point blank ask them, do you actually know how many people lose health care?
Right.
What's going to be the cost? Have you read this bill? I mean, they're actually moving forward, and you've had Republican senators actually communicating that they've seen enough. They don't need to see any more. They're willing to do anything possible to take your health care away. And what I've been saying, what we've been saying very clearly, if they're going to use their job to take away your health care, then do our job as citizens and take their job away in the Senate next year.
Good point. 866-99-SIRIUS, 866-997-4748. So as of this hour, though, we're not even certain they have the votes for Graham-Cassidy. And the other thing about it too, as you mentioned, in terms of the effects of this, how many people will be left off of health care? DNC Vice Chair Michael Blake with us, folks. 21 minutes past the hour. The Congressional Budget Office, if you do this during reconciliation, the Congressional Budget Office doesn't get a chance to weigh in, right?
Exactly. And so, this would be synonymous to someone saying, you know what, Mark, you have a house. You know you like your house. Living, you're engaged, everything all good. Got some edges you can, make improvements here on the edges. I want you to take this other house. I'm not going to tell you the cost of it. I'm not going to show you where there needs to be improvements. And I need you to make a decision in 6 days. Right? Like it just practically makes no sense what we're talking about here, where something of this magnitude that you would move forward, and the Republicans are of saying, you know what, we actually don't need to know the score. Now, one of the reasons why they don't want you to know the score, ladies and gentlemen, is the Congressional Budget Office in their previous assessments of healthcare indicated that in just 1 year of removing individual and employer mandates, a minimum of 15 million people lose healthcare in 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
So we just want people to understand the magnitude of what we're talking about. Every person that's listening, any pre-existing that is out there that you could have and unfortunately have to suffer with and endure, you wouldn't be covered any longer. For women in maternal health, you wouldn't have that covered any longer. For seniors, nothing to guarantee that you be helped as relates to your premiums. Like fundamental aspects, and that's why they're trying to move forward on this. And it shows a very clear line. And this is just a continuation of the vision of Trump and Pence and Ryan and McConnell. Let's just look at what they've been focusing on. They've an unconstitutional Muslim ban.
Yeah.
Trying to repeatedly take your health care away. Moving forward on announcing that they're going to remove DACA unless Congress acts in 6 months, which Congress has done no action on this before. Sessions with mandatory minimum sentencing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so we need people to really be mobilized and engaged. That's why in the DNC, we've been saying repeatedly, rise and organize. Rise and organize to say you want a better deal for healthcare, a better deal for jobs, a better deal for education. Make sure we're speaking up. Use our Twitter handle at The Democrats. Follow us at The Democrats. See what we're mobilizing, putting out there. Go to Democrats.org so you can sign up and find the call tool so you can make calls to your respective senators. We need people to be engaged in the process right now, because in your everyday lives, you would never make major decisions without knowing the cost of them. So why on earth would Senate Republicans be trying to impact your health care without knowing the cost of it?
866-99-SIRIUS, 866-997-4748. Folks, we want you to call your members of Congress, your senators as well, 224-3121. Tell them not to repeal Obamacare. It's rare that a former president comes and speaks out, Michael Blake. Even President Obama himself, former President Obama, had to come out and defend his own health care plan yesterday.
Yeah, because 12% of Americans want health care to be repealed. 12%. So this notion that this is some Democrat-only ideal. No, this is about Americans saying, no, we don't want you to take this away. When there's a clear education of the Affordable Care Act and the impact of it, of young people staying on their parents' plan until age 26, of free colonoscopies, of free mammograms, of seniors being covered in their donut hole, of pre-existing conditions being covered, of making sure that Planned Parenthood is getting the funding that it needs. When people grasp that you have a proposal that would take that away, they reject that.
Yeah.
And so, former President Obama, who, to his credit, and one of the greatest honors of my life was having the chance to work for him on both campaigns and in the White House for 2.5 years. I was at the White House when we pushed forward on the Affordable Care Act and moving in that manner, where he put his legacy on the line of saying, if there's anything I will do, it'll be making sure people have health care. There are people alive today because of the Affordable Care Act. And so for us to be silent about that is something that we reject. And that's why we appreciate the president as being very clear about this and communicating this out. And what we're seeing on the other side it's just reprehensible, and it's unconscionable that you have members of Congress who are spending their time and energy not on infrastructure, not on jobs, not on helping you go to school, not on any of these things that would impact you, not on affordable housing, not on criminal justice reform. They have been spending months on trying to take your health care away. And we have to stand up. We have to reject this. And this is why elections matter, everybody. You have elections this year in New Jersey for governor and their legislative seats, with Bill Murphy and Sheila Oliver being the Democratic candidates. In Virginia, everyone, it's important to understand that you have a governor's race in Ralph Northam, who's our candidate, but the Lieutenant Governor, Justin Fairfax, and then the AG, Mark Herring, are not on the same ticket, so you have to vote for all three of them individually. State of Washington has a major Senate race. These races matter because it gives us the opportunity to build momentum going into 2018, where we have to see a shift happen in Congress. We cannot allow these Republicans to continue to move forward. They're doing everything they can to block. We have to do everything we can to build.
You're right. DNC Vice Chair Michael Blake, Assemblyman from the 79th District. Michael Blake reminding us we need to get in touch with our members of the Senate, 202-224-3121. Let them know that you are opposed to Graham-Cassidy. Rise and organize. This is an opportunity to do just that. We can't let this go. We can't allow ourselves to lose what we know has been helpful to us. And, you know, I don't even think they realize. I think they do. And that's why this may not go anywhere. It's kind of a tricky thing. They like the publicity of trying to do it. But then I think they also know that their own constituency will turn on them once their constituency realizes the impact of losing the Affordable Care Act. So please, ma'am, please, sir, contact your member of the Senate, 202-224-3121. Our guest has been DNC Vice Chair Michael Blake. Mr. Vice Chair, thank you for joining us, man, and we'll keep beating this drum, okay?
Always, brother. Thank you, everybody, and thank you, Mark, for everything you do to raise the cause of what's happening right now in the country.
Thank you. Glad to be of service, man. Thank you so much. We'll talk again soon, okay? All right, take care. All right, bye-bye. 866-99-SERIOUS, 866-997-4748. Don't forget to call your member of the Senate, 202-224-3121.